Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today, I am finally doing a bracelet on the loom. Are you excited? I don't know. I'm excited. So I'm showing you how to make the crown jewel bracelet. And it's made on one loom, but it's got one easy transfer, just transferring cap bands over, if you can see them in the middle there. But anyways, let's get started. Now, the good thing about this is that it's on the loom, so it will use a set amount of bands. Unlike hook only, which, the amount of bands you use varies depending on how big your wrist is. So, for this side color, the brown, if you can see it in here, right there on both sides, you will need 60 bands. So, 30 for one side, 30 for the other side. So if you want to make one side one color, you'll use 30 of that color, other side another color, 30 of that color. And each of these little bursts here is 5 bands, in case you want to make each one a different color. I like this bracelet because there's a bunch of different ways to do the colors. But anyways, and then the center color, or center colors, you will need 48 bands for these center bursts. So, here I used 8 different colors per burst. Since there are 6 bursts, I used 6 of each of these 8 colors. And that multiplied together is 48, so that makes sense. And then for the lace and cap bands, the cap bands in the middle, you will need 103 bands. And you'll want to make this all one color so it's not like super confusing. And then for your extensions in the back, I used 32 bands, but of course this varies based on how big your wrist is. So you'll want to use a multiple of 4 because there are 4 extensions in the back here. Any number that's a multiple of 4, and of course based on your wrist size, so I'd just hold it up to your wrist and then use as many bands as you need to fit it around your wrist. And then of course you finish it off with some C-clips, and you need 4 C-clips to finish off this bracelet. So after that, let's get started. So you're going to start off and you're going to lay down your bands. So first you're going to start by laying down one of your side borders, and again this uses a transfer. So you're going to be doing one half of this bracelet, and then you're going to make the other half. You're going to lay out the other half and then put the cap bands of the first half down and then loom. I mean, I'll explain it better once we get to it, of course, but that's the gist of how you make one of these. So you're going to start by doing the border. So basically you're going to do the entire right half of the loom. You're just going to put a border on the entire right half, and that's it. Not the left half, because of course you need a transfer. And yeah. So let me move my box of bands. So for this one that I'm making on camera, you're going to be laying down your lacy bands first, which I'm using white for again. So it's pretty easy. You're going to lay one from the center bottom peg to the right. And then you're just going to move all the way up on the side, just in a straight line on the rightmost row of pegs. So, have you guys missed loom bracelets? I'm surprised that I was able to even invent a new one on the loom, because I thought I'd be totally out of practice by this point. Yeah, I put this design on Instagram on my spam account where I post new ideas and really whatever pops into my head. And you guys seem to like it, so here I am. Alright, and again, just moving straight up. Not much I have to explain here. Alright. And then usually for most bracelets you make, you don't use these 2 pegs, but for this design you are going to use both of them. You're going to use all the pegs on your board. So instead of going to the center like you normally would with a border, you're going to stretch this band to the last peg. So straight all the way up. And the only band that isn't going straight is the first band you place, from the center to the right. And then after this, you have your next layer of bands to lay. You're still working with your lace colored bands, so the same color, white. And you're going to lay a more center lacy bit. So to do that, you're going to place down your first band, which is from center bottom peg to the left. I didn't quite get it on there. And then you're going to make this pattern of a diamond, one forward, then another diamond, then one forward. You'll see when we get there. So place your next band from this left peg to the center, and place your other band from the right peg, bottom right peg, to the center to meet up with the band that you had placed before. And then, before making your next diamond, just gonna place a band in the center from the previous diamond up. Then you're going to repeat that again. So this time you're going to lay band from the center to the left, place another band from the center to the right, and then place a band from the left to the center above previous center you're working with, and then place a band from the right up to the center. And of course, make a band go forward before you place your next diamond. So bottom center to the left, bottom center to the right, left to the top center, and then right to the top center. And you finish it with your band straight forward, and then you just keep on doing that till you get to the end. Pretty easy pattern. I always forget that because I have a tripod I have to tilt the loom so it doesn't whack right into my tripod. Oh boy, I haven't made one of these in so long. I'm sorry guys, I know you've been begging for loom stuff, but honestly I just think hook only in general looks a lot nicer and is a lot easier for me to make personally. But yeah. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with the title of this video. I know I'm gonna make it like something super clickbaity, like like Claire uses her loom for the first time in like 3 years, not clickbait. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna play that up and see how people react. I just love like funny clickbait titles. Especially like the unironic ones that are just ridiculous but are hilarious. Anyways, once you get to the top here, just keep on going until you can't go on with your pattern anymore. And then you're done. You don't have any more pegs to use. Alright. Now first you're going to add your side color, which is the browns that I told you about earlier. And you're going to add this on the side with the border. So that is this side. You can tell by the line of bands that we placed first. So for this I'm going to use orange, neon orange, right here. My little Friday pillbox slot. So I'm just going to place these down. It's like a half starburst basically, if you've ever made the starburst bracelet on the loom. You're going to go from bottom to top. And this band here is going to be where the starburst is coming from. If you can tell, the whites make a trapezoid type shape, and you're just going from the center peg out for your half starburst. You're just going to keep on going with that hitting all 4 corners of your trapezoid with your orange bands. And then after you do that, you're going to place one last orange band in the middle as a cap band. So just twist that on like that. And then you move on up, you find your trapezoid again, and find the center peg of your trapezoid, and just work out from there. So center to the bottom, and you'll be moving from the bottom clockwise. Yes, that is clockwise. So from the bottom to the top clockwise. You ever just like try thinking about clockwise and counterclockwise and then have to like double check in your head like, yes, that is how a clock works. Just easy stuff like that your brain's like, wait, am I right? I better double check. And of course, add your cap band. Find your trapezoid, find the center peg, move from bottom to top clockwise. And you do this 6 times total. Unless you've extended your loom, then you do it 12 times. Fun fact, if you didn't know, I actually have 3 looms. I bought 2 of them myself, or actually no, I didn't. My grandma got me my first one for my birthday because I was like, hey grandma, I want to get into this rainbow looming thing. She was like, alright. So I got my first one from her. I think I bought my second one, like myself, with my own money. And then my third one, we had a Secret Santa and choir, and one girl gave me her old loom as a gift. So that's my third loom. And more fun facts about my loom, because I don't know what to talk about in this section. I broke one of my, well, I broke one halfway through breaking another one. One of my pin bars. Pretty sure, yeah, that's what you call them, are pin bars. Bars of pins. And I broke one of them just because I had used it so much. It was from my first loom. And I think my second one was also from my first loom. And it's not quite broken yet, but there's a section that's cracked and it'll break eventually, I just know it. But I super glued the first one and it works totally fine, so hooray. If you break one of your pin bars, just super glue it back together. It works like a charm. I just don't like to use it in videos because it's not as pretty. And I want my videos to be pretty. Alright, I'm at the last one up here. And then cap band. I don't know how to make a cap band. I'm Claire, I'm 17, and I don't know how to make a cap band. Alright, I made the cap band. And there you go, that is one side all the way done. And now you're going to move on to your half of your center burst, which is basically what you're working on right now is like this part of the bracelet. So half of the center burst, one of your sides, and half of the lace. So if you're going to make multicolored center bursts, you want to notice that one side is going to be the first 4 colors, and the other side that you work on is going to be the other 4 colors. So just keep that in mind, don't, goof it up. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making my center burst. I'm going to be using one color for one burst, and then a different color for the next burst, and I'll be alternating. Although I guess technically 2 colors per burst, but I'm going to be using tie-dye blue-green for the first burst, and then tie-dye blue-pink for the second burst. And these are the tie-dye jelly bands by Rainbow Loom, by the way. I bought mine at Michael's. So let's get going. It's the same exact thing as this, pretty much. You're laying out your starburst in a very similar way, except mirrored, because obviously you have your trapezoid the other way this time. So I'm going to start with my blue-green color, my bleen, blue-green. And this time you're going to be going bottom to the top counterclockwise. So you find your trapezoid, except this time it doesn't have a bottom base part to the trapezoid, but it's a sort of half trapezoid crescent shape. Find your center peg here. Center peg is the one that doesn't have any bands on it yet. And you're just going to go bottom to top counterclockwise. So, yeah, I don't think I have to explain this in depth. Basically, same thing as you did on the other side, except mirrored. And then, of course, you add your cap band as usual. And then you scoot on up and you do the same thing. And this time I'm going to be using the blue-pink, like I said. I just thought these colors were really fun, really neon and vibrant. I think Rainbow Loom still sells neon bands at Michael's, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure that was the only place they sold them for a while, like neon jelly bands. I'm surprised they still have a really good selection of Rainbow Loom products at Michael's, because you could say the fad has died down quite a bit because most loomers don't make any videos, or make very few videos like like I do. I just pop in every couple months and I'm like, hey guys. But I try not to like ever stop uploading, like, period, because I know that would be rough. Like, if my favorite YouTuber ever stopped uploading forever, I'd be so sad. So I try to pop in and give you at least something every once in a while. I gotta think, am I gonna bring this table to college? Or I might not film at college, film videos at college when I go off. I'd probably just come home and film over my breaks when I visit my family. But yeah. Geez, I can't believe I'm so old. I'm going off to college soonish. A year-ish. That's crazy. I've had this channel since I was in, like, second half of 7th grade. Like, I've had it that long. It's been so long. Like, how many years has that been? I mean, I'm almost in 12th grade. I'm almost a senior now. So it's like almost 5 years, which is ridiculous. And I mean, I've really liked, like, genuinely liked having it this whole time. And again, the whole 100,000 subscriber thing is, like, crazy. I'm still like, what? That happened? Like, there was a point where I was like, oh, you know, I'm close, but it's never gonna actually happen. Like, I'm gonna start losing subscribers before I gain enough to get myself up there. But no, you guys pulled through and subscribed, and I was like, whoa. So yeah, YouTube, hit me up with that plaque, because I still haven't gotten an email. That'd be a cool thing to show my kids someday. Alright, now I've gotten all the way up with that. And then, one last thing before you can band, or weave your bands, weave your bands. I don't even know the terminology anymore. So you'll notice that on this side, the left side, is the side that you're going to use to connect the other side of your bracelet to when you make it. So this is the side that has to be studded with a bunch of cap bands. So you'll notice the starburst, half starburst, they already have cap bands on them. So before you flip your loom and start looming, you gotta put cap bands on every other spot that isn't covered with one. So you put one bottom here, skip that one because you've already added your cap band for your starbursts. Add another one here, skip, another one here, skip, here, skip, here, skip that one, here, and then here. And then one last thing, you'll add one more little cap band right on this peg here, because you're not going to be looping out of this peg, you're going to be looping out of these side two pegs. And there we go. That's all we need. Now we can finally flip our loom after that lengthy process of putting on bands. So what you're going to do is you're going to first loop these starburst bands on your right side. So of course you're going to loop them just like you would a normal starburst. You're going to note what band is on top, which is the bottom band here. Going to grab it and pull it down. And then, should I zoom in? I'm going to zoom in a tiny bit. Then you're going to grab your next band, which is this band, and loop it to meet its other half. Then you're going to keep on going until you get to the top. So you're looping bottom to top clockwise. And now you've looped all of your starburst. So you move on to the next one and you do the exact same thing. You go under your cap band, grab the top band, which is your bottom band, and loop it. And then you go bottom to top clockwise and keep on going. And then you just do the same exact thing all the way till you get to the top. So I'm going to speed up a bit because I've already explained how to do it. And side note, if you want to hear me explain something again, just rewind the video, because once I say repeat this till you get to the end, it's the same exact thing. So if you just watch my explanation, you're golden and you know how to do it all the way up. Alright, now I got two more to go. And again, sorry it's kind of tilted. My tripod doesn't let me put my loom back straight. Alright. And then you're up to your last one. And there you go. Now I've looped all of my starburst bands on the right side. So you're going to do the same thing on the other side, flipped of course. So you're going to go bottom to top counterclockwise. So you get under this cap band, grab your top band, pull it down, and then go all the way around counterclockwise. Scoot up and do the same thing. I feel like this video is going to be really long. Oops, my band slipped. But I don't think it's really an issue with stuff like this, like on the loom. I don't want to fast forward or leave anything out. And I feel like a lot of people just loom along with me. There we go. Oh my gosh, my brother is calling me right in the middle of a video. That is really bad timing. My phone is right next to me because I made a note with how many bands you need for each color and everything. So yeah, I hope he gets the hint, because because I'm always on my phone except for when I'm filming and sleeping and showering. I'm not one of those weirdos who takes their phone into the shower. Like, if I had a waterproof phone case, oh boy, I'd probably go all out with it. I'd like take it swimming. I'd be like, well, you said it's waterproof, so I'm gonna just totally take advantage of that all the time, anytime. Alright, got to the top. So I'm gonna zoom out a bit. Oh wait, that's zooming in. I do not know how to work my camera. Alright. Now after this, you're going to loom your lacy center, and then after that you're going to loom your border. So to start with your center, you're going to go into your leftmost, bottommost peg, and you're going to grab your second to last band, which is your lacy center band. So I'm going to grab that, and then you loop it to the center bottom peg. Then over here you're going to do the same thing. Get into all these bands, grab the bottom band, loop it to the center peg. And then you're going to get under all these bands, there's a lot of them, grab the bottom band, and then pull it up. You want to be very careful because it's kind of tight, so you don't want to tug it, you want to just like gently loop it over. And then you're going to move on to your diamond. So you're going to get under all these bands, grab your second to bottom band, pull it and loop it to the left, get in the center peg, go under all the bands and pick up the bottom one, loop it to the right. Oh boy, my camera's doing the thing. Sorry about that, my camera stops me after a certain amount of minutes. Anyways, then you're going to go to this left peg, get under all the bands, pick up your second to bottom band, pull it and loop it to the center. Then you're going to get underneath all of these bands on this peg, grab the bottom band, and loop it to the center. Again, you get under all these bands, grab the bottom one, loop up. And then you're just going to repeat this process until you get to the end. So really you're following the same pattern that you did when you were putting on your bands. So you're going up to the center, then to the left, then to the right, then up to the left, then up to the right. Same thing again. It's pretty easy, I'd say. You just ever have that moment where you think you grabbed the wrong band and you're like, oh darn. It was me just now. Don't grab the wrong band. I don't know what to say right now. You all want to hear what I did last night? Last night I baked some cake pops. It was pretty sweet. No pun intended. Anyways. So yeah, I got this really sweet cake pop maker at a local thrift shop. And it was only $4 and it was like a maker. It was a little tiny thing that you could plug into the wall. And it had these little non-stick like holes that you can fill with cake batter, cake pop cake batter. You want to look up a special recipe for like the cake pop maker that you bought. And so yeah, I made that special batter. I put it in and it worked really well, and they turn out really quick too. You plug it in, you preheat, you bake them for like 5 minutes and then you're good. I just accidentally underfilled them, but it wasn't a big deal because I opened it up and flipped them and got them all cooked just as good. And then I melted up some chocolate with some coconut oil, covered them in chocolate and some gold sugar sprinkles, and they were delicious. And I don't think I mentioned it, but the cake was vanilla. It was really good. I don't want to go overkill and do chocolate cake with chocolate covering, because that seems like a bit much. Plus, I'm a sucker for vanilla and chocolate together. Alright, so when you get to the very end, the very last diamond here, it's a little different. You're not going to go left to right. You're going to skip the left because that's part of your border. And you're just going to do right. So you just loop that like you normally do. And then you go all the way down to the bottom again. And now you looped your border, and then you're done with this half of the bracelet. So you're going to go into the leftmost peg, grab the bottom band and pull up. And you're just going to repeat this till you get to the top. Grab the bottom band and pull up each of these bands. And again, be very gentle with these so you don't break your bands. I used to have a video a while ago about, it was one of my first videos actually, how to fix a broken band or how to replace it while your bracelet's on the loom. I should probably remake that. Comment down below, let me know if I should remake that video. It's still good for you guys who use the loom. I'm sure I explained it pretty badly back then because I was new to this whole thing. There we go. And I like to make my bands like pinched down here. You don't have to, but if you can, it makes it less stretch while it's on the loom. Or makes the top part of it less stretched. And then of course, the last band you loop is to the center, so just loop that. And then, you're at the end here, so you can add your little bands and then make your extensions. So, I like to make my extensions right after I finish this part up instead of adding them later. So, for my particular extensions with my wrist, I used 8 bands per extension. So, you're going to actually make 2 extensions out of this, because you remember down here, put 2 tap bands. You got to make enough extensions to clip onto those cap bands. So just get right in there, like you usually would. Get down into all those bands. And you're going to grab all 8 bands that you're going to use for your extension. So, do your normal thing. I'll zoom in again. Pull that through everything in that peg. And then, after that, you just chain on as many bands as you need for your wrist. Or if you don't know how long this is going to be on your wrist and how many you need to add, just add like 4 and then add more later. But since I already know, I'm just going to add all 8 at this time. I don't know how to chain on a hook either. Alright, that's my last band. And then of course I'm going to grab my C-clip, clip it, and I'm all good. So, that's your first one. What I like to do is I like to scoot it over to the other side. Then you get into here again, and you do the exact same thing. So again, same amount of bands you use on the other one. Pull the first one through, and then you just chain like you normally would. Alright, one more band, and then I can clip it. Alright, there we go. So there's that. You have your 2 extensions coming out of this one peg. And then I'm gonna zoom. I always zoom in first and then I zoom out. Silly mistakes. And then you're gonna take this all off your hook. Off your loom. So used to hook only bracelets. Anyway, I'm gonna do this off camera and get a drink of water so my voice doesn't give out and so that this isn't unnecessarily long. So I'll be back after taking this off my loom. Just do it how you normally would, pull it off. Yeah. And now I'm back. I've pulled this off my loom and it should look something like this, with your little extensions at the end. And this is how I pulled it off, facing this direction and everything. And now I'm going to set this aside like this. I like to lay it out like this and not flipped or like that or anything, because it makes it easier to remember how to put it on my loom when I have to put it on my loom alongside what I place on my loom now for the other half, if that makes sense. So all your cap bands are on the right, all of your side border color is on the left, your extensions are on the top. And that's how you want to lay it aside. And also, these white bands look more stretched than the other side slightly. So I'm setting it off to the side looking like that. And now you're going to do your other side. So this is really the same exact thing except everything is mirrored. Pretty easy, I'd say. So you're going to add your border. You're going to do this like you normally do, except mirrored. So the last time we put it all the way up to the right, this time you're going to do your border all the way up to the left. So the center peg to the outside peg, and then you're going to do a straight line of bands all the way to the top. So I'm just going to do that. And of course this is your lacy color that you're adding right now. Anyways, guess I'll continue talking about cake pops. So yeah, really all the things that I needed for it were those ingredients for the cake, and then I just melted some chocolate for the outside, and I added some sprinkles for color. And you can get some nice paper sticks, like the kind of paper sticks that are in lollipops, except a lot longer. You can get those from Michael's, then you just stick them in your cake pops. And what else? I'll keep going later. Anyways, that is your border. And you're going to add your center diamond lace in a similar way. You're going to do the same sort of like pattern of center, bottom center to left, bottom center to right, left to top center, right to top center, and then center band. You're going to do that same sort of pattern. So of course, when you first start off, this band is already placed. So you're going to start by going bottom, center to top to right. And then after that, you go left to top center, and then right to top center. After that diamond, you add a band, just going straight forward in the middle. Then you repeat this till you get to the end. So bottom center to left, bottom center to right, left to top center, and then right to top center. Go make one going straight forward, and of course repeat. So anyways, about the cake pops. So yeah, I got the sticks at Michael's. I got like 100 for $5. It was pretty nice. 6 inches each is probably the length I'd recommend for your typical cake pop. Unless you want to make different lengths of sticks for displaying purposes, because they also sell 8 inches, I believe, 8-inch sticks. But yeah, I presented them to my parents and they were like, ooh, those look yummy, and they thought they were good, so I'd say that was a good $4 spent on a cake pop maker. Oh dang it. I dropped my band. 1 second. There we go. Oop. So yeah, it's a really neat, easy little thing to use. You just plug it in the wall and use it. You don't have to heat up an oven or anything, you just need like a microwave. for melting your chocolate. If you're gonna do it glazed, you don't even have to like put them on sticks or anything like that, because the cake pop maker also makes like a great mini donut hole maker, like a cakey mini donut hole. Then you just glaze it with powdered sugar. And those are pretty good too, or they sound good. I haven't tried them. You can also fill them with stuff. The original kit came with a lot of things, but I didn't buy it. I just bought the maker, like the actual baker of the cake pops. It's the downside with thrift stores, but still worth it. So I had to improvise with a lot of my materials. So the original came with like a stand to cool them in, or cool them on. And it came with, you know, a bunch of other stuff, like a little syringe to pipe filling into the cake pops with. And I didn't get any of that, so I had to use like a deviled egg holder to cool my cake pops. And I had to use my rainbow looms to like dry the coating when I put it on. It was funny, I just stuck the sticks in each of these pegs with a little cap band around them, and it held up pretty well. Except I got some chocolate on my loom, but that got cleaned off. Alright, and I finished that same pattern all the way up. And you end there. And my battery is dying, so I'm going to come back, fill that up, and then I will continue. Alright, and I'm back. Now, just like the other side, the first bands you're going to add are your edge bands. Bordering bands, whatever you want to call them. So for me, that is the orange. And this time you're going to add them on the left side with this trapezoid shape again. Same sort of process as last time. So you're going to go from the bottom to the top counterclockwise. And this peg right here is the very center of the trapezoid, so that is where I'm going to make the center of my half starburst. And then, of course, just like last time, you add a cap band right in the middle there. Then you move on and you repeat this all the way up. Same thing as last time, pretty much, except reversed, of course. It took a lot longer for my battery pack to charge than I thought. I think I used to like leave it docked in there even after it was charged for a while. I don't think that was probably good for my battery. Kind of like charging your phone when it's like full if you still leave it plugged in. I don't know if that actually hurts your phone or not. I've heard mixed reviews about that, but still I wouldn't risk it. But yeah. I'm excited. After I make this video, I'm gonna have some cake pops. One thing I learned when I made them is that if you're gonna make them for like a party or something, you want to get like special chocolate that's like fully solid at room temperature. So like you can actually find it at Target or wherever. And it's called melting chocolate or something. It's the kind of stuff that hardens at room temperature and you don't have to worry about it being soft or whatever. I basically have to keep mine in the fridge because the chocolate on the outside isn't totally 100% hard at room temperature. So it's a good lesson, of course. What else was I gonna say? Oh, lately I've been into thrift shopping. Of course, I found that cake pop maker, which was a great find for my personal stuff that I bake for. And I also like to look around for yarn. And if you guys are into like normal weight acrylic yarn, the thrift store is the prime place to get it because they have a ton and they have it real cheap. Like oftentimes you can find it almost brand new, like still in the yarn sleeve. And yeah, it's a good deal. Sometimes they'll even charge like $1 or less for a huge ball of yarn. Anyways, I'll keep going with that later. So now you're going to add your colored center bursts on the right side. So it's the same thing as last time, looking at the trapezoid and all that. And if you're doing different colors for each section, you want to look back on this and you'll want to make sure that you do the right color per section. That way you don't have mismatched bursts. So to make sure of this, you flip your loom, and just look at it. So knowing that this is going to line up this way, I want to end with pink. So pink, green, pink, green, pink, green. So I want to start with green. Start with my green and blue color. It would be cool to do like a half mismatched effect, but if that's not where you're going for, obviously, you want to make sure you avoid that. Anyways, I'm going to start with my green. And you're going to do the same thing, of course, bottom to top, this time clockwise. And you're going to look at the trapezoid, find the center of it, which is again the peg with no bands on it right now. And then bottom to top clockwise. Anyways, acrylic yarn. So I found this nice little bundle of yarn at the first thrift store I went to. I can't talk. And that was the one where I got the cake pop maker. So I got 3 decently sized balls of yarn, acrylic, for like $3, plus a little bit extra, tiny bit extra yarn, which was a pretty good deal because that stuff, I checked the old price tags on it from when the person who donated it originally got it, and it said like $5 each, so that's a pretty good markdown. And then I went to a different thrift store, and they sold their yarn in big old bins, like giant bins that they just kept on the floor, and they sold each one for $15. So they like taped it at the top so you couldn't like steal stuff out of it, of course. But I looked in there, I found a lot of good yarn. Oh geez, I severely miscounted how many bands I would need. Darn it. Okay. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm gonna keep going. So yeah, basically what I did, I miscounted my bands. I forgot that I was gonna use white cap bands as the center of my bursts. So I started using my tie-dye bands for those. Because I didn't lay out enough of them, then I ran out. So the numbers I gave you in the beginning are still correct. I don't have to give you different numbers. But just know that in those numbers, I think I mentioned that cap bands are included in the number of white lacy bands that I said. So just know that and you'll be good and you won't run out of bands. That means I'm going to have extra white bands at the end from the ones that I laid out for myself. So there's that. So if you do want to use non-white bands as the center of your bursts, your center bursts, then you'll subtract 6 from the white lacy band number I gave you, and then you'll just add that number to your center burst band amount. I always make some sort of band counting mistake whenever I make a video. I swear, I can't count. It's annoying because I'm not that terrible at math, but like, I can't count. It's kind of funny. It's like, give me a difficult problem and I can do it, but I'll probably make some dumb mistake and say 7 minus 5 is like 3 or something. Like, no. Why am I like this? It's the worst feeling when you take a math test and you got it down and you would have gotten 100 until you go back and you realized you made some dumb like simple multiplication error and you're like, no! And that 99 hurts a lot more than if you got like a 95 or something because you were so close. So close yet so far. Alright. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so I didn't miss. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Cap bands off. Take all those cap bands off. Because I forgot that the cap bands are included in the half that we already made, basically. So I miscounted, but I miscounted by less of an amount than I thought. Alright. Anyways, so oh my gosh, I got a hair in my loom. Anyways, so this is all of the stuff we have set up. And one last band I think you add at the end here. You gotta add a little white cap band right over here, because that's not attached to your previous bracelet, so you have to add it. And then you flip, and now, before you start looping, you gotta add the half that you already completed on. So it's pretty easy. All you do is you find the cap bands along the edge, and you connect them along the edge of your loom. So you take your bottom cap band, which is this one right here. It's underneath the cap band of the first burst. And you just pop that onto your loom on the bottom left peg. And then you grab the cap band of your burst, plop it right here at the middle of this next half burst. And then you find your next white band. So for me it's going to alternate between white, which are the bands in between the bursts, and then the cap bands from the burst. So you grab this white. It should be pretty easy to spot. The cap bands are right straight in the middle of all of the other bands that are sandwiched in there. So you're going to grab that. Make sure you got both halves of the cap band. Slap it right on that peg. And you're just going to keep moving down. And it's going to stretch your bracelet quite a bit, but you shouldn't have to worry about any bands breaking, of course. If you use some nice quality rainbow loom bands. But seriously, I wouldn't risk buying any other brand of bands. Not sponsored, but I've found rainbow loom bands hold up the best. And are, like, pretty decent prices, of course, for what you get, nice quality bands. None of my old rainbow loom band bracelets have broken or anything like that. Believe me, I'd tell you if another brand made better bands, but they don't. Alright, just keep on going. Same way as before. Make sure you don't skip a cap band, because that can really mess up your bracelet. Just remember, it's going to alternate between the bands that are in the center of your bursts and the bands that are in between those burst centers. Alright, now I'm getting up to the top here. Alright. Once you have that all laid out, then you can start looping like you normally would. So, of course, you're going to loop your starbursts the same way as you normally do. Try not to get confused by your half bursts that are on here. So you're going to, if you need to stretch it out, that's what I do sometimes so I can see what I'm doing better. And you're going to loop from bottom to top counterclockwise for these center burst bands. So just do that. And it's really important when you have this other half of your bracelet over here, it's really important to make sure that your band, when you're looping it to the center peg in between the centers of the bursts, that it gets all the way onto that peg. Kind of hard, you have a lot on there already. Then you just keep going up, doing the same exact thing. Anyways, about my big yarn find that I was talking about earlier. I got a big old bin for 15 bucks of yarn, and there were over 15 balls of yarn in there, so that means less than $1 per ball of yarn, which is great. Great deal. I love great deals. And again, a lot of it was not even used, like, at all. And some of it was just tiny, like, leftover bits of yarn. Still enough to make something out of course, but like little balls of yarn that were just the remnants of a big ball of yarn. And those were still useful. I made them into hats. I'm making hats out of this yarn. And for a lot of you out there looking for service hours or just don't know how to spend your time and want to use it helping others, I suggest knitting like blankets or hats. Knitting or crocheting, either one is fine. Hats or blankets for homeless people. And you can just bring them over to whoever in your area is giving them to homeless people, I guess. Some organization. I like to bring them to a lady at my school because she gives them over, and it's really sweet. Alright, now we're doing the other side, which is another half burst. This is the half burst with your border. Doing the same thing pretty much. Going bottom to top, this time clockwise. It's a lot easier over here because you don't have your whole other half of your bracelet kind of getting in the way. So you don't have to pay as much attention here, or make sure that you don't loop something wrong. So yeah, that's what I'm spending my summer doing. I was kind of bored and I'm like, oh wait, I used to crochet hats. And now I should do that again. And so I am. They're really easy and quick. And now I got plenty of yarn to make them out of. So anything like that, I think I'm going to look in a like thrift shop to grab some yarn there before I go and look in Michael's or Hobby Lobby or wherever. Because they do have nice yarn, it's just that a lot of times if you're not looking for brand spanking new, the thrift store is a great way to go. Because most of that stuff isn't trash, it's like still great quality, just cheaper. Someone else owned it before you, but that's really that's really it. And a lot of times you can find some actually very expensive stuff in there that you can resell for higher. That's what my family does with, there's this one book my dad gets at the thrift store. He always looks for it, and a couple times he's found it, and then he resells it on Amazon if it's in good enough condition for really cheap. So, money-making advice. Anyways, next part you're going to do the center lace, and then after this you're going to do the border, of course. So, what you're going to do is you're going to get into the leftmost bottom peg, grab the bottom band, gotta be careful here, there we go, and loop it into the middle. Then you get into the bottom right peg, and you grab the second to last band here because under that is the border band, and then you loop it to the middle. And then you get under all of these bands in the middle bottom peg, grab the bottom, and pull it up. Then you keep on going onto your diamond. So you get under, grab the second to last band, pull it to the left, go into the middle peg, grab the bottom band, go to the right, get under and into the left peg, grab the bottom band, pull it to the center peg, get into the right peg, grab the second to last band, and pull it to the middle. Keep on going. Basically keep repeating the same exact thing. You did it before on the other side too. And in addition to all this normal acrylic yarn I got some nice bulkier yarn, some nice bulky fuzzy-ish yarn. And I'll use that to make hats too, I think. It should work. I'll just have to use a different size crochet hook. So I'm excited for all that. I have plenty of yarn. I don't think I'm gonna have to raid a Goodwill or wherever for more yarn in a while. We'll be pretty busy with that. But of course I'll still make videos and invent whenever it's the weekend and I gotta bring y'all a new video. So yeah, that's exciting. And I've already made a lot of hats. Each one is 3 service hours at my school. And I've already made a lot, so woohoo! I did this freshman year too. I made a bunch of hats. Now I should bring back my hat making tradition. And the really fun part of it is when you get to the end of a ball of yarn but you still have a bit left. Enough to make something out of, but only a tiny bit. And then you gotta think, what other tiny bits of yarn should I combine this with to make a hat? And then you end up coming up with some cool color combos with your scraps. And I got this one hat that I'm making that's just scraps, and it's got all sorts of colors. It's got like some got some variegated, I think that's what you call it, yarn. It's got like blues and purples and like aquamarines. It's like an oceany color combo. Then I got like some army green and some other colors in there too, and some purple, dark blue. It's looking pretty cool, and pink. Anyways, before I stop, I better stop blabbering. So, after you've gotten here to half of your diamond, you're going to start finishing up that diamond. And then before you can loop this last band, you stop, because this band right here is part of your border. And we're going to get to that now. So to start your border, you're going to go into your bottom right peg, grab the bottom band and loop up. And just keep repeating that, going all the way to the bottom, grabbing the bottom band and looping up on each peg. Borders are pretty easy. They're my go-to when I can't figure out how to make a loom design that stays together, because usually those loose bands end up on the border or on the border of the loom. So if you add a border, then you can just pick all those up. It becomes a cohesive bracelet. Hold on, it's not pinching in here, so let me... There we go. I like to make my bands pinch like that. Alright, and I've looped all the way up straight. And then you get into the bottom band of this last peg and you loop it into the center. So we've looped up all of our bands, and now to finish off, you're just going to add your extension bands. So I'm going to zoom for this again. Same thing that you did before. You just get in here under all of these bands and add your extension. And like I said, I like to use 8, but for those who don't know how many bands they're going to use, I'd just loop through like 4 and then add more on later when you know your wrist size. So I just loop that through and add on a bunch of bands. And I'm just single chaining these, of course. Once you get to the end, you add your C-clip and then you release. And of course I like to scoot this to the other side, go under, in again, and then you grab your 8. Pull your first one through, and then chain on a bunch. Sometimes I goof when I make these. Alright, and then you're going to use your last clip. Alright. Now I'm going to pull this off. I think I'll pull this off on camera. Look at me, I zoomed back instead of zooming forward first. So I like to take these off. I like to peel the edges off first. Like the left and right rows, I like to peel those off, get everything off of those. And then the center row I take off last. So of course be very careful. This is the kind of design I don't like to rip it like off the loom, just like whoosh. No. I usually try to be very gentle when taking these off. Alright, then if you have a loom that can do it, I just like to take this row out, and then it makes it easier to get the center part off. Peel it off. And there we go. Stretch it about a bit so you can see those bursts. And there's your bracelet. So to clip it, it's pretty easy. All you do is make sure you got 4 extensions here and 3 cap bands over here. And to clip it, what you do is you take this top chain, you're going to bring it over to the top cap band and clip the top chain onto the top cap band, making sure it doesn't twist or anything like that. And then you're going to take the chain below that and clip that chain onto your center cap band. Then you're going to take your next top chain and you're going to clip that one as well onto the center cap band. And then finally, you're going to take your remaining chain and clip that onto your last remaining cap band, the most bottom cap band. And I find having all these chains helps it look a lot better, because one chain in the middle would make it look kind of flimsy and goofy. And anyway, there's your bracelet. I hope you guys enjoyed my first loom design in forever, and tell me if you want any more. I might attempt to design another loom design, or I might stick to more hook-only designs. I'm definitely better at making hook-only designs, but I haven't worked with the loom in so long, so maybe I'd have more options if I work with the loom. Anyway, leave your comments below, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye!